Hey guys, if you're watching your parents age in Sherman Oaks, Studio City, or Encino, you're likely facing a decision that's both emotional and incredibly expensive. And most families wait until a crisis to look at the living options for seniors, only to get hit with a massive reality check, right? The cost of in-home care versus assisted living in Los Angeles. In the San Fernando Valley, 24/7 in-home care is now topping $30,000 a month. That's a staggering number that can drain an estate faster than most realize. I'm Alan Taylor with Compass, and today we're diving into the transition that's as much about the heart as it is about the home. And in my business, I see families across the San Fernando Valley at a crossroads every day that house Sherman Oaks, Encino, or Studio City that once was perfect is now a burden of stairs and maintenance. And to help us navigate this are senior care options for Sherman Oaks, the logistics, and the kids versus parents dynamic. I'm joined by Sue Pomerantz of Concepts for Living, and we're diving into why the modern community isn't the home anymore and how to turn a daunting move into a strategic, happy chapter. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. I am with a very good friend of mine, the one and the only Sue Pomerantz with Concepts for Living. This video, guys, is all about, the transition that people make. Well, you could say hi, Sue, if you want to.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ellen.
This video is going to be all about, seniors and the transition that they go through, I guess maybe from the realization of I can't live in my home anymore to do I stay at home? Do I move to an assisted living facility? What does that process look like? And what are the costs? And how does, there's so much, Sue, that I think that my guess is, I don't guess, I know because I've had family members go through it, that they go through. What's the starting point in your mind for most people?
It varies so much, Alan, because it depends on whether the person is considering this from a social isolation standpoint or they need assisted living or memory care because they're sick. And it also depends on if it's the person themselves, the seniors, or their family that is initiating the process. And it's a journey. We actually appreciate it more when there's time and we can ease them through it and become part of their team so that they trust us, rather than quick discharge from a rehab or quick discharge from a hospital. You've got 2 days to find a place.
Right.
That becomes more challenging because we're not matching then like we like to do.
Got it. Interesting. I heard you say, from a social aspect or because of a sickness. I think I deal with both on the real estate side. Maybe the more common one is I'm just tired of cooking and running my house, and I just want to live on the big boat in the big boat in the whatever, the cruise ship on cold water.
That's
So,
what I call it, cruise ship on land.
how do people get there? I mean, I've got clients that they literally know that it's going to happen and needs to get done, but they fight it. So how does, I mean, it just seems like it's a hard process to get people to move
It
from
is.
the current space to the new one.
It is. Well, familiarity, first of all. People have been in their homes, as you know, for so many years. They're attached to it. All their memories are in between those walls. And the idea of going into a new place, sizing down, is a big challenge because they're coming from a decent sized house or a large house to a much smaller. It doesn't even matter if it's a big apartment within the community. It's much smaller than they're used to. And so then it becomes, what am I going to leave behind? What can I take with me? It's emotional. And it's also, as they're walking out the door, they're turning around and they're seeing a home full of memories and they're leaving it behind. But we try to tell them, your memories go with you. Your memories are here and here. These are
And
just walls.
not in the personal property and the walls.
That's right. And depending on the size of their place, which they can work with a move manager who will physically help them through that, they can take whatever they can fit into their new place. In fact, we encourage it. Make it your home. Take your furniture, take your photos, of course, take your artifacts, whatever you've collected through travel, make it your home. And that's really important. But it's a journey. And it can't, I always tell my families that this is not like sending your kids off to camp or college. Seniors moving into an independent living or assisted living community, this is that end of their life. I mean, and we don't want for them to have to move again. We want them to be able to live happily and healthily for as many years as they have. But it's not like, oh, yay, we get to move. It's an acceptance of this is the road we travel. And I find now that I started this company 28 years ago. And back then I was fairly young. And now I'm one of them. And that actually helps me and it helps them because I get it. I get what they're feeling. And I live in a house and that someday will be yours to sell. And I have those memories in that lifetime. But I also know that on the other end of that, after they get through that emotional part of it, at the other end is another life that can be very fulfilling and a lot more fun than they may be having now.
So, yeah, I never really quite heard it that way, and it's so well put, right? It's the realization that you're going to a new, or the end, not the end of the road, but like the last chapter, I guess. And if I stay in my house, I feel like I'm still myself, and I still have more time, maybe. Um, so what do you do, or how does somebody make the move? Not physically. I mean,
I know what you mean. Emotionally make it move.
yeah, like, because obviously,
Here's what we
they're
do.
gonna get in the car with you, and they're gonna go and they're gonna look and they're gonna see it. Is it the lifestyle that's presented to them, and the friends and the fun and the games and the this and the that?
Part of
Is
it.
that what do you think's the glue?
That's part of it. First of all, I find that they're enormously relieved when they see the places because in their mind, it's like, please don't ever put me in the home. I remember my mother saying that to me, and that was years before I was even in this industry. So I promised her but back then, those were nursing homes. And
Right.
I would still say today, don't ever put your loved one in a nursing home other than to rehab. You don't want your loved one to have to finish out their life in a nursing home.
Right.
These are not nursing homes. These are communities. We don't call them facilities. We call them communities because that's what they are. And there are two types, and maybe we'll get a chance to cover that. There are the large ones, big ones that everybody sees and knows the names of, and then there are small homes. And the small homes are very nurturing and sweet and comfortable because they really are small homes. They are a higher ratio of caregivers, and they're usually for the people who need more care, less socialization. It's not as important because they need more care, and there's usually a high factor of memory loss in those homes. But they're all of these, big, small, and in between, are really essential because we're not alike. No two people require the same thing. So I do encourage people while they're still independent, if they can, and if we can convince them, if they're ready, to do it sooner than later because it really does become their community. And then down the road, should they need that kind of help, the staff are already friends of theirs. They know them, they're comfortable with them, they trust them and they can come into your apartment and help you. And no one outside of those doors are any the wiser. No one knows what you're getting inside your own apartment.
It's like your own
So
space.
that's right. So you've got your own space and then you've got a whole big wide world out there. And there's so much to offer that it gives these people a reason to get up in the morning and get dressed and get out and play. Rather than what am I going to do? I'm going to sit in front of the TV. I'm going to eat by myself. Maybe I can drive, maybe I can't.
That doesn't sound fun.
No. And there's still a lot of fun to be had.
I mean,
They
I would
just need to
imagine.
know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you're a people person, this is like for you, right? And then maybe if you're an introvert and you just want to sit at home and be on your computer, you're probably okay. I mean, I guess just interestingly enough, like how do you see personalities being part of the decision-making process?
Well, it is. It definitely is. But also, you need to think ahead about even if you're well, thankfully, more introverted, don't mind being alone, that solitary confinement, if you will, isn't good for your health.
Mm-mm,
And it's not good for you mentally.
mm-mm.
So being in a community kind of forces you to be part of it. Doesn't mean you have to always do the activities. It doesn't mean you have to be involved in a club or anything like that.
But you'll
But you
see
do need to
people.
join. You need to join for meals. Something, something that where you're going to have conversation with someone other than yourself or the TV. And it makes an incredible difference in morale and mental acuity. Yes, you can listen to TV all day, whatever political leaning you are, you can go to your station, but it's a lot more interesting to have an interaction with someone and discuss those things.
Mm.
And the activities in the communities are so varied, and nobody forces you to do anything. It's just there if you want.
So why then do, or I guess let me just ask you better this way. Let's say there's of all 80-year-olds who have to make a decision, or 85-year-olds or 90-year-olds, whatever, about staying and having in-home care versus going to a facility, not, excuse me, going to a community.
Thank you. You're a
Community.
quick learner.
That's a big one for me.
Yes.
What percentage would you say, maybe in our market or our area here in the San Fernando Valley, what percentage of them stay at home with in-home care versus go to a community? Do you any
That's
ideas?
a hard one to answer.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
say
surprised you with that one. Sorry I didn't give you that
you
ahead of
did,
time.
but that's okay. I'm gonna say until it's a necessity, more stay at home.
Right.
But because nobody really wants to leave their home, except the rare person. For me, for instance, I've been in this house for 50 years and I love it. You know, raised three kids, bunch of grandkids, love it. But when it's my turn, um, I'm okay with leaving. Now, maybe it's all because I've seen what I want. I know what's out there.
Right.
And I don't want to cook anymore. And I
You-
don't want to do, I want to be waited on.
you're also very social and
Yeah,
personable, and and you're such a doer in your community. I mean, I think that probably is part of it, right? If you're very active in your community, you like being out there, and you want to, and you're that person, and you can't leave your house anymore, you go crazy.
that's right. I mean, that's you too, Alan. So
That's
think
me
about it.
too.
Think
That's
about
me
it in
too.
40 years.
Yeah.
You
Would I
couldn't
want to
do
be by
that.
myself? No, well, I would be living in I'd have to be close to a golf course. So as long as I was near
I
a golf
know.
course, I'd be okay. Um, yeah. So okay. So now let's talk about real quickly, like the costs. I mean, I guess because everyone wants to stay at home. So if they could afford to stay home, and let's say they got neighbors that they know, and they have some people around them. Like I'm like across the street in Caddy Corner, there's a couple that's like, I know they lived at home. Um, they aged in place. What are the cost differences? I mean, I do hear people saying more that we're going to move to a community because it's a lesser expensive financial move. Is that right?
Mhm. It really is. And even though the costs in communities have gone up enormously too, I'm not going to kid around about that. It's even getting harder. When I first started this company, the high end was 4,000 a month. And now to find something at 4,000 a month is really a challenge. In fact, almost non-existent. So I'm going to be very frank about that. Our most difficult situations is what we call the gray area. You've got a large population everyone thinks, coming down, everybody, baby boomers are coming down and they think they have money and they don't all have money. And so you've got a great discrepancy between those who can afford very expensive places. And that's very nice for me too, because I'm commission based. I don't charge my clients. So, but then there are those who are who don't qualify for Medi-Cal, which is the equivalent of Medicaid nationally, but as you know, we're Medi-Cal here. Um, they don't qualify because they have too much income,
They have
but
too
not
much
enough for a
money.
lot of the places, but too much to be on Medi-Cal, and Medi-Cal has some programs that help, but they can't get those because they have too much. Those are the hardest people to find places for. And it's becoming a real challenge because it's a growing population. Um, I and when we can, and we do, we usually are pretty successful at it, but it takes a deep dive.
So
Um,
where do these people live now? Like, I mean, and who are these type of people? You're talking
these,
about teachers or
well,
firemen, police officers, or are we
teachers usually have pensions. Actually, teachers usually have pretty good pensions. Um,
that help
but
cover?
but some of the people are people who invested and it didn't work out. Um, some professions or skills that they can't do anymore. Um,
Yeah.
it varies widely. But
Okay. So let's say I'm I was let's take myself, I guess. Um, I don't know how much money I'm gonna have, but like, your average, what, 75 or 80-year-old person, what's the average age do you think that they move into these places?
it's
And then
usually in their
go ahead.
the average age in the places are in their 80s.
So, and then how long do they usually live? And I mean, I guess I'm just thinking about it from a financial planning standpoint, right? If
They're
I'm
living longer. I mean,
80 and I'm going to live to 95 or even 100, that's 10 to 15 years. What's the cost differential versus a decent facility, a decent community for me to move into versus the cost of staying at home and aging in place?
it's going to cost you much more to stay at home and age in place because if you need full-time care, even now, let's not look forward 40 years to you till you might be there, but even now, home cares are running for 24/7. They are running at 30,000 and up for a month. 30,000 and up.
For a
So
month.
a month.
Wow.
24/7. That's somebody, those are like two 12-hour shifts. If it's a live-in situation, then I think it's a little bit less because they can sleep at nights. You're 220, you're 212s, somebody's going to be awake. You're going to have, and that depends on the level of care that you need.
Well, that
If you
actually
don't need
makes
someone who's
more
awake at night,
sense, is for somebody just to sleep there and live there. And if you
yes,
need help at the night, they wake up, they come help, and they go back to bed.
right, it does. Some of the agencies aren't doing live-ins now. They're only doing shifts. Um, but there's still an advantage also. It's a whole different subject, but there's an advantage to going through an agency as opposed to hiring privately just because of trust and coverage and not having to have the responsibility of being the boss and paying their taxes and all that stuff. But that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but seriously, I was putting together some numbers because I knew you were going to ask me
That's what I was
financial.
wondering.
Everybody
Right, the financial
does.
planning.
And even the most expensive places, highest end, and they really are like cruise ships on land. If you have a, if you're a single person and you have a one-bedroom apartment, just let's say that, and you're in Westwood, let's pull up Westwood because
Yeah,
location, location, location,
absolutely.
right? So a one bedroom without care is let me just hold on one second. Let me look at something. Yeah, okay. A one bedroom, this is the very most expensive. A one bedroom starts at um a studio starts at 12 and a one bedroom starts at 16. So if you add on care, let's even round it up and say a lot of care. Let's say another 4,000.
That's
So
still
that's
not cheap,
20. It's
obviously.
still not going to be as much as home care at 30 plus. and
You're
you've got
right.
round the clock care. For those who choose to go into a small home because they need that level of care, my top of the line small homes
Well,
now are running 12, 10 and 12,
but you're 12, so
care included.
but you're 12, like your 12,000 studio or 15,000. Does that, the 15, that, does that come, what kind of care does that come with? I always thought that if you moved into the community and you're paying that 12 or whatever $1,000 a month, that's for like food, activities and
It
whatever.
is.
And that's not including any care.
That's not care, but they add on care at the end. And as needed, I can't quote you care because it varies just
Right,
enormously.
right, right,
But
right, right.
but it includes 3 meals a day, um, transportation to shopping, doctor's appointments, outings, all that stuff. All your utilities, except if you have a land phone, then or any phone actually, you pay your phone. Let's see. Oh, house cleaning, so your apartment
Don't
gets
have
fully
to clean
cleaned.
your place
That's the
anymore.
other thing I'm perfectly willing to give up. And laundry. So it includes all those things. You can bring your pets as long as it's in their parameters.
Do they all take pets?
Yeah, they pretty much do.
Yeah, I
Most of
think
them
that's
will
really important.
ask for a pet allowance, like
A
security
release or some kind of,
deposit,
yeah, some
something.
kind of, right.
Yeah. Like if the cat tears up whatever.
So there you go. I
Um,
mean, that's almost half the cost
Even top line, top of the line.
for top of, right. And you're saying even like average in-home, like a regular in-home care is $30,000 a month. That's
For
crazy.
24/7, yes.
That's crazy. That's $360,000 a year.
Let me
That's
quote you.
$1 million in three. I'm not, no, 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 you're right. I don't, I don't think you're wrong at all. I
I
had a
want it
conversation with somebody else about that. Uh,
in Woodland Hills. Let me quote you a really nice place in Woodland Hills. Okay. Without care. Your studios, now this is independent. Your studios run 8,000, 8,000 a month. Your one bedrooms run 12. Your memory care runs 11.3 to 11.8, but memory care includes a lot of care. That's less tacked on. That's included.
on
It's
top of it.
included.
Oh, it's in, wait, 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 wait.
Memory
The,
care includes it's more expensive because it includes a lot of the care.
but when you said the one bedroom or whatever was 10.
Studios 8, one bedroom's 12.
Okay, one bedroom's 12, and then you said memory care is 11.8.
Right, but
Does
that'll
that
be a
go on
studio.
top of?
No, it's a different unit altogether. So your
Ah,
memory care it's 11.8 because it's a smaller room.
and we're just talking about like a section in the community where there are people that are trained to deal with
Right.
those that are having memory issues or dementia or Alzheimer's so that they get
And
all.
those rooms that are at 11, it's actually 11.3, I'm reading it wrong. Those rooms that are 11.3 are studios, so it's compared to the studio and independent living that's 8. So it's
Yeah,
still another 3,300,
yeah, yeah.
but it includes a lot of care.
Got it.
And
Well,
yes,
there
they are
you.
trained, and they are also a much higher ratio of caregivers to the residents.
Well, there you go. I mean, it sounds like people have options if they have the resources and want to stay at home. Obviously, they can do that, although there may be some expense in terms of a social standpoint. And
Definitely.
if money is a real issue, um, perhaps selling the home and moving into a community and creating capital and using that to live out a good life in a nice
Absolutely.
place isn't the worst thing in the world.
Absolutely. And I'm a big proponent, if it's not too late for them in their planning, I'm a big proponent of long-term care insurance.
Oh, of course.
It's
Yes, of
not,
course.
they're not written like they used to be, but
Yeah.
still, it takes a load off, and that goes to your total. It's not just for care. If you have, let's say, $8,000 in coverage a month, that could pay for almost everything.
Yeah.
Your rent is part of that. So if you can get it, it's a good thing to have.
Well, thank you, Sue. Thank you so much for joining us. and for having this discussion. This was very enlightening.
I hope
Um,
so.
yeah, and Sue Pomerantz is located right here in Encino, California. She works heavily along the Ventura Boulevard corridor. She works all over. She lives in
With
Beverly
you.
Hills. She'll do anywhere in the greater Los Angeles area. Her company is, as we said, is Concepts for Living, so you can look her up. And
Conceptsforliving.com.
yeah, and I know, Sue, you just like talking to people and connecting with them, even if
I
they're
do.
not sure which way they want to go. You know, you're like your voicemail says you they talk, you listen, and you help them find their way. And if they feel like in-home care is the way, you have the connections for them in that regard as well.
I do. I have connections for every senior need you can imagine.
I'm sure you do.
But can I add
I'm
one
sure you
thing?
do.
I know you
Yeah.
didn't ask this, but I'm going to add
Oh,
it anyhow.
a
You and
bonus.
I, yep, yep. You and I have known each other now for several years, and you have such an affinity to working with seniors that it always warms my, work with me, but it always warms my heart. And the clients that we've been able to share are the best. And you talk about listening, you do care about them and you do listen. And I know it to be true because they do tell me and they speak so highly of you. So I think that any family with a senior in mind or the senior themselves um, should definitely trust you to take care of them. And I do want to add that my favorite clients are when I can work with the senior themselves.
Yeah.
It's great that the families care,
Yeah.
but and my other favorite client that I say glibly is an only child, but that's beside it.
Right,
Uh,
too many cooks in the kitchen, then it gets
exactly.
a little, yeah,
Who's
yeah,
going to be the
yeah,
alpha dog?
yeah.
But no, seriously, when I can work with the senior
Well,
themselves,
the last one we did together, an independent gal. I mean, I called the daughter so many times, like, do you want me to go over the agreement? Do you want me to go? Nope, my mom knows what she's doing. She was actually a former real estate agent, by the way. Which
was
is so
she?
fun. Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
I didn't know that
Yeah, I
part.
think that was why she was so comfortable. But
She never,
I think she was 90. I don't know, how old is she? 90 something?
in
90,
nine, yeah, I think she was 91.
91, and like just managed the whole thing and just like
I fell in love with her when she told me that she needed to have a community with an underground garage to park her blue Mercedes convertible. And I said, I was like, and she said, yes, I drive it, but not at night. I was like,
okay. I love it.
I fell in
Uh,
love, and it's those seniors that make it so much
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Just,
Well,
uh,
Sue, thanks again for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
thank you for
It's great
having
to
me,
have you.
Alan.
Yeah, you got it.
Appreciate it.
I hope this video makes it to a lot of computer screens um, nearby for both those that are thinking about it themselves. I mean, I think we're in an age now where people in their 80s and 90s are on YouTube looking for information about
I hope
um,
so.
this, for people like you. And so hopefully they land on this and they can um, hopefully it results in a connection to you, and hopefully you can continue
And
helping people for a very long time.
well, thank you very much. And you grace us all. You really do. So thank you.
My pleasure. All right, Sue. We'll see you later. I'll
Bye.
see you at the Maps. I'll see you at Skirball for the Maps charities.
Yes, I will now go put on my other hat and start
And
working
get
on it
ready for it.
today.
All righty. Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.